Welcome, Kingdom Warriors. We are Relentless Glory, here to relentlessly provide you with motivation, education, and of course, relentlessly be praising God. I'm Coach Jamie, and this is Coach Liv.
Hello, Kingdom Warriors. Coach Liv here.
And I am Coach Jamie, and we
are Relentless Glory.
We're getting there.
We'll get there. So today, last week we talked about loving like Jesus. This week we're going to talk about forgiving like Jesus, because in order to really love like Jesus, you gotta let go of some things, and forgiveness is a really great place to start. So, Jamie, what are your thoughts on this?
Super hard to do. It's super hard to do. But it is so beautiful what happens when you do. And I know that obviously everybody is walking a different life. Like I all that comes to my mind is I've seen, I try not to get too sucked into whether it be social media, the news, whatever, about like just the evil that's happening in this world, because I think that like the more we give attention to it, we're just fueling it. So I don't avoid it, but I just don't try to put my attention there. But I've seen a couple of different videos, like when there was that school shooting and there was another type of shooting, or there was something else that had happened, and there was even a young girl, like super like teenager, and she's standing up there and she's crying because I think her dad was a cop, got killed, whatever. Again, hey, we're not here for negativity. This is not about to talk politics or anything. This is just the situation. And she's crying and just lost her dad, like teenager, like young teenager, like 13, 14 maybe. And she's talking about how like she forgives the person who did it. And she prays that Jesus can fill their heart with love and can remove whatever bitterness, whatever anger, whatever hurt, and even whatever guilt comes their way for what it was that they did. I don't, I honestly, sitting here, if I were to put myself in those type of shoes, if I would have been able to respond like that. But I think that that's where like forgiving like Jesus, like no matter what, we are all imperfect people. We are all sinners, and God has given us the gift of grace, which we'll talk about that, in future episodes too. But like, I definitely am not going to say that lying to somebody is the same as raping someone or killing someone, but a sin is still a sin. And it's not our place to act like God to determine what justifies as somebody not being worthy of being forgiven or not. That's not our call. And so in those type of situations, like forgiveness is the best thing that you can do. And I think that there's even a quote, and this is not from the Bible, but it says, to forgive is to release a prisoner and recognize that the prisoner was you. Like the only thing you're doing is you're imprisoning yourself to all of these emotions that you're hardening your heart with and you're holding on to. And so when you can do that forgiveness, like that freedom that you're going to gain from it. Again, none of us are perfect. And I'm not justifying that somebody doing that awful of actions is okay or acceptable. But we are not the ruler of the world to determine that. And although very hard, Jesus was the one I mean, think about it. Like everybody was stoning the woman for being a whore in the streets, right? And he's like, tell me which one of you hasn't sinned, that is so perfect and has never messed up. They all walked away. And that goes back to what we talked about like last week about like judging. Like, who are we to judge when God is the one who could use that same very situation? Somebody who went to prison for a mass murder and then finds God in prison and starts testifying and being able to show that God forgives and is willing to bless you and turn your life around. Like, that's not our story to judge and to tell. So why keep that on our hearts to keep us from being able to love like Jesus and receive that same love too?
I have a very I'll say it's selfish. I think forgiveness is a very selfish thing. I'm a big fan and component of forgiveness. I heard a quote, and I'm gonna butcher this, and it's not from the Bible, but it's to harbor unforgiveness is to drink the poison and expect another person to die. And it's
Yes.
true. You are literally hurting yourself so much more by holding on to this bitterness. You're letting go of opportunities in your life because you're so fixated on the negative. Um, I find forgiveness so much easier now because
Agree.
I um I understand that it's a process that I have to take. Now, I'm not saying it happens overnight, but because I wasn't conditioned that way. Like just and I also my view on death is so different than the general society. So I'm just not the person for that. I'm like I just
We've talked
accept
about
that
that.
it's a part of life. And when it happens, it happens. You love the people you have while you have them. But start with asking God to, like, if you're having a hard time, because at some point in time I did, um, to help you have the will to want to forgive, help
Hmm.
you get, just even take them little first steps. Okay. And then the process become, I'm telling you, if you just trust that God can fix your heart, you give your heart to him because he wants all of it. You give your heart to him, he will truly fix your heart posture. You've got to give that unforgiveness to him. So, like I said, it is a selfish thing because it's so much more freeing. It is not for them. And it does not mean that you do not implement boundaries with these people that have done you wrong. It doesn't mean that you allow these people to do the same thing. That's not what forgiveness is. And I think that there's a very big misconception in our society about what forgiveness is and why it should be done. Even, we both have we both know NLP. Even in
Hmm.
NLP, it talks about the importance of forgiveness because we're harboring these negative emotions to
Hmm.
situations and it's keeping us stuck. So on a scientific standpoint, and scientifically, there's medical benefits of
Hmm.
forgiving people. It's in the Bible. Like, guys, do it for yourself. If you don't want to do it for anybody else at first, just do it for you, and it'll help
Yeah,
you out.
it is the exhaustion and the negative just weight that you carry around because of that is real. And I think I did this in like TikTok or a reel earlier this week. But that very thing is like when we die of ourselves and our own way of thinking, that's when we can truly let God take over. Like we need to die to be reborn, and that's dying to our fleshly spirit. Fleshly, I don't even know if that's a word, but it is today. But is being able to like release that and let God live through us, like genuinely choose to let God go to work. And again, like if we were able to do this all on our own, we wouldn't have a God we needed to believe in. Like that's the point of all of this is asking him for it. Remove this bitterness from my heart. Remove of me, which is not of you. Help me learn to love like you. Allow me to surrender these worldly things and learn to walk in the path of you. Woo! To know I was
Surrendering
going to
worldly
take some
things.
church.
That's a whole different
Jot
man.
that down. We got another one, another future episode coming.
Yes. Oh
I
man.
love it. So yes, I want to ask something a little bit different for in the comments today. If there is something you are struggling with in terms of forgiveness, you don't have to say what it is. If you want and you want support, we've got you. But if you just want to drop an emoji of like a raised hand, if you want to say pray for me, whatever, but drop below if you are somebody who is needing the strength to learn how to forgive and to be able to remove that bitterness and that weight from your heart. Because we would love to pray for you. So if that is you, please courageously step into your vulnerability. There is no judgment here. Love like Jesus. We got you. We love you. We will pray for you.
Amen. And if you want just to be connected to us a little bit more, make sure you join our newsletter, monthly newsletter. It's in the link below. Go ahead and check it out. We're not going to spam you. We're not those people. We don't have that time. I'm sorry. We don't have the time to spam you. So But yeah, just join, be a part of the community, and go live relentless for the glory of God.
Well, thanks for being here. Now go be relentless for the glory of God.